And good morning again. I'm Rob Bonta, California Attorney General. Thank you all for joining me virtually as I announce California's 67th lawsuit against the Trump administration. Today, alongside the California Air Resources Board and a multi-state coalition, we're suing the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for failing to implement a life-saving clean air standard. This is about something simple: the air we breathe. When air quality worsens, the consequences are severe and long lasting. Children struggle to breathe. Families make more trips to the emergency room. Lives are shortened. And those impacts don't fall evenly. They hit hardest in lower income communities and communities of color. This lawsuit is about protecting Californians from that reality and protecting the health of our communities. Let's break this down in plain terms. The pollutant at issue here is fine particulate matter, also known as soot. It comes from everyday sources like conventional cars, trucks, factories, construction sites, and agriculture. But because these particles are so small, they don't just fall to the ground. They enter our lungs, our bloodstream, and even affect other organs, which is why exposure is linked to asthma attacks, heart disease, cancer, and even, yes, premature death. Under the Clean Air Act, EPA is required to set and implement national standards to protect public health. The standards don't apply to specific pollution sources, but set the maximum concentration of a pollutant that's allowed in the ambient air. In 2024, based on overwhelming scientific evidence, EPA strengthened those standards for soot pollution. That standard is still in effect today, and California stepped up to defend that standard in court, and that case is still pending. But instead of implementing the standard as required by the law, the Trump administration's EPA keeps trying to deny us the protections of the rule, even though it does not and cannot dispute their importance. On one hand, they've asked a federal court to strike the standard down altogether rather than try to repeal it themselves. And on the other, they've simply failed to put the rule into practice as Congress has required. But the law has not changed. EPA still has a legal obligation to implement it, and they're not doing that. Specifically, EPA must identify which areas don't currently meet these standards. This is called designating areas as non-attainment. And it comes with both benefits and consequences that help states then take action to clean up the air. But earlier this year, EPA missed that deadline. That failure has real consequences because without those designations, states with non-attainment areas like California are left without critical tools to reduce pollution and protect public health. That's why we're asking the court to declare EPA's inaction unlawful and order it to follow the law by identifying areas with unsafe levels of pollution. And let's be clear, California knows what's at stake. 4 of the most polluted regions in the country are right here in our state, including the Los Angeles Basin and the San Joaquin Valley. Our communities are already on the front lines of this crisis. That's why we've led the nation in setting strong clean air standards and why we've gone to court time and again to defend them. EPA itself estimates that fully attaining the standard could prevent thousands of premature deaths, thousands of emergency room visits, and hundreds of thousands of asthma cases across the nation in just the first year alone. It would also generate tens of billions of dollars in health benefits. So when EPA fails to act, it's not just a missed deadline. It's life-threatening and economically devastating at a time when our economy is already strained. Today's lawsuit is about making sure the federal government does its job. Clean air isn't optional. It's a basic right. And the law is clear. The federal government has a responsibility to protect our air quality. When they fail to do so, we won't hesitate to call them on their failure. Because no community should have to live with air that makes them sick. No child should have to grow up struggling to breathe, and no family should have to pay the price for the federal government's inaction. In California, we're going to continue to fight for the health of every Californian. So we'll see the president in court again. Before I open it up to questions, I'd like to thank my incredible team leading this work, including Anadel Almendras, Deborah M. Smith, Mi Young Park, Christy Vosberg, Jonathan Weiner, Michaela Harms, Stacy Lau, and Corey Moffett, incredible public servants doing incredible work on behalf of our state and our public health in this particular matter. With that, I want to say thank you, and I'm happy to open it up to any questions that you might have.